train, but probably tomorrow we train with him and he will be available. Some problem with hips, so I think he'll be okay.
No issues apart from that then? Good news for you?
No.
Start off, I'm going to be a positive, but let's start one little negative. The FA misconduct charge, just to get your reaction to that.
Yeah, they told me about this. We will see with the club. Focus on the game, that's the most important thing.
Right, there's big plans Sunday. All supporters groups are getting together. Around 15, 20,000 are going to be cheering yourself and the team on, the coach going into the stadium. Everyone putting their feelings to one side, supporting you. How does that feel, hearing that?
No, nice. What I said already after the game was like a beautiful sensation of feeling of togetherness with the fans. Very rare I felt this. I enjoy feeling, like a sensation that we were doing good in the pitch, but together with them, together with the fans. So that was really nice, rare, as I said, So we need to continue all together. This, if we can say, small positive moment after these two games, where we can recognize small but important things for the squad.
The fans are pumped, and the players have seen that as well, and the players have retweeted and commented with the fans. How do you feel going into it? Did you get that feeling as well? Because I know you went down the tunnel a bit early at full time on Wednesday, but did you get that feeling in the stadium?
Yeah, there is a positivity, but also understanding that the game will not be easy. So important game, but probably it will not be decide anything after the game, independently of the results. So we need just to keep going on what we did last two games.
Good luck,
Charlie.
Hi Igor. Obviously, your team have produced two really good performances and results over the past week, and that was under intense pressure with so few players available on the bench. What have you learnt about your players over the past 7 days or so that perhaps you didn't know beforehand?
What I learned about players, what I didn't know before. Question is, what I can tell you on that question? Nothing new. I didn't learn nothing new.
Nottingham Forest, of course, were in action yesterday in the Europa League. They were away from home, but they had to go all the way to penalties to win their tie. How much of an advantage do you think it is that they had to play one day later than yourselves?
There will be no advantage because the coach made in the way so the players who we start, they didn't play more than 60 minutes. So there will not be advantage from this point of view.
And there's a great stat going into this game on Sunday. Spurs have scored the second most goals from corners in the Premier League this season, and Forest have conceded the second most goals from corners this season. So how big a part do you think set pieces could play on Sunday?
Yeah. Set pieces are very important. So we after you said me about this statistic, so we just need to go on set pieces and win set pieces if it's possible. But of course, there is not just set pieces, so it's a long game to play. Few games in the game. We need to be inside from the first to last second of the game, including five subs. So big respect to them because they have players who can hurt us, but as well going on our sides, going out with our things, with confidence, with courage, with humbleness, with all the stuff are necessary to take the points.
Ali, please.
Hi, Igor. I'll ask you about Xavi. The other night you created so many chances and it felt like he was a really important part of that. How do you get him playing like that consistently for you?
No, I didn't get him. He worked himself. Was motivated, was good, was with right mentality, and when he's like that, his quality is coming out. So his connection, his qualities connect a lot with these things I said now. Really beautiful surprise for me. Like he was inside from the first second of the game. And it was nice to find in him this resource we will need it in these last games. We still have to play. Yeah.
I think he had, with Archie, I think they had the most ball recoveries, those two players. And it's strange to have a playmaker who's actually a fighter as well.
For sure. In football of today, it's always about 11 players who need to defending. So more players you have with these values, better result you get.
One player I wanted to ask about, Mohamed Kudus. We're kind of wondering when you're going to have him back. When do you think?
So we have this big 3 weeks after the game of Sunday. I don't know. Probably some part of the things with the squad, maybe 10 days. I don't know. I'm not sure. We need to check. But he's progressing very well already with the ball. Rodrigo as well, Madison as well. We hope that the medical staff will make us some nice surprise in next weeks. It will be very important to have them.
So you could have James Maddison before the end of the season, maybe?
Yeah. No, Madison is already doing interesting things as well with the ball, sprinting as well. You know, I saw him. He's positive.
Nothing on Kulusevski? Any progress?
No, not yet.
Thank you.
And that's George, please.
Hi, Igor. I just wanted to ask you about the break after this match. It's obviously the international break, but then you have a weekend with no fixture. Are you already kind of planning what you want to do during them? Maybe a training ground game, take the players away?
No, a lot of players for national team, of course. We make already plans, so it will be some rest and a lot of work.
Would you like to have a game during that period of the weekend where you don't have a fixture?
We're going to see. For now, it's not in program.
Yeah, and in terms of this match, obviously, whatever starting 11 you pick is important, but how kind of conscious are you of having those players on the bench that can come on and make the impact and make you finish strongly?
Yeah, it will be nice to have 5-6 subs in the game on Sunday, so important.
And
in the end, it's about us. It means that the question is what team we want to be, what face we want to show, our best face, our strengths, our qualities, our personality, our character as a team. I really believe that we can be ourselves without fears and trying to win the game.
Well, just how massive is this match, given that Forest are outside of the drop zone on goal difference only, and Spurs are just a point above them?
What a game this is going to be. I'm looking forward to this one. Like you said, it's a 6-point match, isn't it? Both teams not doing particularly well this season. It's been a miserable campaign for Spurs. But, Nottingham Forest are showing a little bit of fight. The last 2 games they've drawn against City and Fulham. But then if you flip that around, it's only 1 win in 7, hence why they're down there. But, I mean, what a big game this is going to be.
Yeah, and it comes on the back of a pretty impressive week for Spurs. Spurs fans saying that the mood has changed.
Well, I mean, the point at Anfield was probably a huge surprise. They played quite long, quite direct, put Liverpool under quite a bit of pressure, and then midweek against Atletico Madrid, they played terrific. The best game under Igor Tudor. I thought they ran really hard, they pressed, they were really aggressive. This was Anfield, and they were good. They were really, really good. I mean, obviously Szoboszlai is just ridiculous at the moment. But they put the ball in the box, they got it forward quickly, they crossed it, and they were a handful for Liverpool. They deserved, a point from the game, and I thought midweek they were actually even better. And that's what you got to do. You got to find a way to compete, win second balls, be aggressive. Even against somebody as good as Van Dijk, you can put him under a bit of pressure. But again, look, long, direct. Stop trying to play between the lines when you're struggling, when you're in a relegation battle. Colin Moani has a huge impact on games from the bench. Charleston's a good finisher. I think obviously they had the boys that had concussions, Romero and Paulinho as well, so they should probably be back fit and healthy. Van de Ven was back. He looked really good midweek. Tell was terrific. midweek on the left-hand side. Xavi Simons played great. Archie Gray was amazing in midfield with Pap Sarr. So it feels like the manager has something. He trusts in, he believes the back four, they look a little bit more solid. So this, I mean, the game is fascinating. It feels like there's almost more pressure on that, in that relegation battle, because obviously if you go out of the Premier League, we're talking hundreds of millions. And you can see that's why there's probably been so much pressure around these two teams at the bottom.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of questions the last little while on Spurs and their mettle for this fight that is survival in the Premier League. Have we seen this week in the performance in the Champions League and then that point at Anfield that I think they realise and they're ready to fight for staying in this league?
Yeah, I think it's a positive the last couple of games. We just looked at that Liverpool game there and the chances they had and the way they played. I'm sure a lot of people were expecting them to get blown away. I certainly was. I thought they'd lose the game convincingly because I was seeing a fragile, shattered in confidence Spurs side. But they didn't look like that in that game, and they had a little bit of fight in the bellies, which is certainly what they're going to need. Because going throughout this season, everyone's been expecting them, they'll not be in trouble, they'll not be in trouble. But they are in trouble. They really are. Hence why this game is so big for them.
Yeah, no wins in 2026 in the Premier League just yet. That's why they are where they are.
You can't have that if you play in that, in the stadium that they have. They got I know they don't count for any points. They've got the best stadium in the country. They've got the best training ground in the country. And they're in a relegation battle. They cannot afford to go down into the Championship with the form. The past couple of seasons it's been a disaster, especially at home. I don't know if fans are enjoying the stadium too much, and there's too much good food and too much to drink. So, but they need
players
for everyone.
They really do have the best food.
But you know what? What I thought the fans against Atletico Madrid, they were brilliant. They were really with the team, and maybe that was also because the players, they were really aggressive and pressed. But it felt like Igor Tudor said there was a togetherness, and you could feel it after the game. It was his first win, I think, as a Spurs manager. And it just felt like there was a bit of belief there off the back of what happened at Anfield and a really good performance against Atletico Madrid. I think they go into that game with a lot more confidence than they did have.
You make such a good point about the fans, because obviously Spurs have not been great, just two Premier League wins at home this season. The fans who are spending their money, spending their Saturdays or Sundays to go there would be very disappointing. And I think the atmosphere has not been what you just described. How important is that really in a battle like this, to have the fans behind you acting as the 12th player?
Yeah, it's massively important, but also, I can understand the way that the fans are as well. I've had it myself at Chelsea when we've gone through difficult moments, they're waiting for you to kind of impress and show a bit of belief and a bit of energy, and in times when results are not going great, you do hear the moans and groans and the grumbles, and they have the right, they pay the money like you said, and sometimes that can almost work against you, if that makes sense. But obviously, once they're alongside you and you have that 12th man in terms of the fans, it's a real big help from a player's point of view. But I'm sure, they've not had much to shout about this season, the Spurs fans, have they? So I can understand why sometimes it's a little bit toxic this season.
Yeah, so this is a big one with their big games all across the league in the next 8 kind of match weeks. Let's look at this relegation battle and if we can kind of work out who has the toughest of those run-ins. What's your take, Owen?
I mean, it's obviously going to go right down to the wire. I mean, if you look at, Leeds, who would have thought Leeds, 3-4 weeks ago would even have been in this position, obviously. I think if you look at their run-in, I think they don't have that hard a run-in. Tottenham, I think they got quite a tricky run, obviously Sunderland away. Aston Villa away, Chelsea away, Everton at home. The biggest issue for Tottenham has been the home form. It's been a mess. That's why this game, Tottenham Forest at Tottenham, is massive. Then you look at Forest, and they got Aston Villa, Chelsea away, Newcastle, Man United, Bournemouth. So they're all tricky as well.
Yeah.
And West Ham the same. You look at their Villa away, Arsenal. Crystal Palace away. There's no easy games.
I think looking at that there, Owen, I think Nottingham Forest has got some tough games coming up. You look at Sunderland, obviously been so good this season. Chelsea, Newcastle, Man United. Yeah. And that's in the business end. That's in the running, the very latter stages. I think that's a tough few games for Forest.
When those clubs are going to be fighting for Champions League football as well, potentially, that makes it difficult. Think about, as you said there, Chelsea, Man United to come still. Forest, for them, they're still in Europe as well. Yeah. Beat Midtjylland on penalties. Is that a distraction or a good break away from the pressure of the Premier League?
The one good thing they had, he rotated a lot in Europe, I think, the manager. And to be fair, they have quite a big squad. And I think a lot of players will probably be happy to play, take a bit of pressure off. I think if you're winning games, it's always a good thing. You know, when you're losing, it's not. So I think they have the squad to cope with it. But the focus has to be the Premier League just because of the, you know, it means so much to these football clubs.
Yeah, you mentioned those recent draws against Man City and Fulham. How much belief has that given them, do you think, going into such a crucial game now?
Yeah, they should take belief from that. And obviously, like we just said in Europe, obviously the result that they had there, I mean, it's a lot better atmosphere going to this training ground off the back of not losing football matches than it is if you're losing football matches. So the competing and the fighting has Europe hindered them a little bit this season, not been used to that. So obviously the fixtures and the travelling and the game load, has that affected the league? For them, maybe so. But nevertheless, they're in with a fighting chance, and they should draw some confidence off the last 2 games that they played.
We're just looking at that run there, and what stands out for me is the fact that they have not scored many goals. Probably the reason why they've dropped so many points recently. They failed to score in 3 games on that run. They scored against City, but that was kind of unusual.
Yeah, well, I think, to be honest, the standout big miss is Chris Woods, isn't it? I think if you look at last season's tally, he had 20 goals last season. You know, 20 goals for any team, you wouldn't be in this situation. So I think he's been a big miss. And yeah, we're just seeing some of these misses here. They've just not been clinical enough in front of goal, and they've created some decent chances. This is Jesus' chance here. Good save in the end. But obviously and that one has just gone wide. But putting the ball in the back of net is obviously a hard thing to do, and they haven't managed to do it enough this season. Hence why they're where they are. I mean, that's a good strike, in fairness, with his left foot, hits the crossbar. These are chances that need to be put away. 1v1s. Pulls it wide. So the positive is that they're creating some of these chances. The negative is, look at this here. You know, you've got a midfielder who's top goal scorer, and outside of that, 3s and 2s. You know.
Yeah, the top goal scorer by some way, and not even in double figures yet, is Morgan Gibbs-White. That's their big problem. 5 goals in the last 7 games.
Well, I think the bigger problem is that obviously Chris Wood is the big miss there. I think the bigger problem is the fact that your second highest scorer's got 3 in 31 games. I mean, your second highest score, they spent, you know, 100, almost 200 million pounds, you know, so you should have, I think back to the, you know, maybe not the Man United teams, but you think they probably had 6 guys with 10 plus goals, you know, and so I think you know, if a guy like Chris Wood is missing, you need other people to step up. You should have 4 or 5 guys on, you know, 6, 8, 10 goals, I think, and that probably lessens the load when you lose such an important player like Chris Wood.
Yeah,
It really feels like it. Tottenham are at home to Nottingham Forest, with Spurs 1 point above the relegation zone and 1 point above Forest. And just as there was some optimism building at Spurs, news of a big blow today. Goalkeeper Vicario will have a hernia operation next week. He is due to play against Forest on Sunday, but after that will need to have surgery. Spurs are hoping he could return to action within the next month. Now, guys, I've got to say, if I heard that someone's having a hernia operation, I wouldn't be expecting to be coming back anytime soon. So, I mean, have you had any cases, Kev, where someone can come back?
Yeah, when I was at Bolton, we had Tal Ben-Haim, centre-half, who went out with an hernia, and he was back within, I think, 10 to 12 days. So it can be done, but obviously goalkeeping is a bit different because you've got to be stretching and moving, and movements are a bit different. So I have known and heard of it.
Yeah.
But I should imagine Tottenham will be open and it'll be the shorter end of it rather than the long, because it's going to be a big loss for them if they do lose him.
If it was a minimally invasive surgery, it can be anywhere from they can be back within 10 days.
10 days, that's it.
But up to around 6 to 8 weeks in a bad case, let's say. But how big of a blow is that, Gus, to Spurs?
What surprised me the most, which is something that normally when I listen to this information, I try to see it from other side, is he's got a problem today, but because of the game on Sunday, they're going to play him.
Yep.
And after, we're going to operate them, and then we play the second goalkeeper. Doesn't give too much confidence to
No. That's a fair point.
With that
It's a fair point.
Yeah.
Which is, because if it was the last game of the season, fair enough.
Yeah.
But there is another game.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, it's
Because of
international
as well, yeah.
If he's coming on time, perfection. You know, if it's 10 days, it's international week. So it's perfect. You get the operation, I don't know, Monday morning.
Yeah.
10 days, we train 3 days, he will play after.
So you think it's an even bigger confidence blow to Kinski that he's playing with a...
If he needs to play after the international.
After the international.
If he needs to play after,
yes,
fine.
If he doesn't recover...
How do you manage that situation? As a manager, go on, tell me. So
you need to talk to him straight away.
Just straight in, this is the scenario.
Or tell the medical staff, if you don't do it, Doc, you playing goal.
Yeah.
So make sure he's back in 10 days.
Yeah. I mean, look, let's look at that as a scenario, because at the end of the day, yes, you know, Kinski had that game, but he's still Spurs' second goalkeeper, and it would mean that if he'd be required, it'd be likely against the likes of Sunderland, Brighton and Wolves. Kevin, how do you think psychologically he can come back into that fold?
Yeah, I mean, look, they're big games, aren't they, as well, for Tottenham, especially, you know, if the worst happens on Sunday as well. So it then becomes a high pressure because, as Gus was saying, the manager sort of said, I'll play you even though you're injured. Let's see if we can get you back. The medical staff must be confident that they can get him back for within the 2 weeks to get him back for that game against, what did you say, Brighton, was it? The next one?
Sunderland,
Sunderland, yeah. So the medical team must be confident that he could get back for that. But what he will be doing, I should imagine, as a manager, he'll be speaking to Kinski and going, look, be ready, you know, because it's your opportunity. Yeah. So, you know, I like you and everything else, but he's my number one. Yeah. And you've just got to be truthful in that moment.
I wouldn't say it. I don't know what they say today.
You wouldn't?
No. It will come, no chance to come out from the training room. If the news comes today out, Vicario had a problem in hernia and he's going to get operated the next day.
Yeah, you wouldn't have put it out. You mean this
no
news?
Chance.
No, yeah. I agree with them there, yeah.
But there was a question. There was a question over the fact that I think they released the Italy squad as well, and Vicario is not named in that squad. I think they chose like quite a few.
I don't care. Don't answer. How are you going to say? And on top of that, you're telling the opposition that he's got a problem. We telling them, showing the image that he kicked it and he felt it.
Yeah.
That now you can take, I'm not saying advantage, but you're going to put them under pressure every time he's a goal.
Making him go long, yeah, of course. Yeah.
And if he kick. Imagine that after kicking 5 or 10, he felt bad and he needs to come out. And now, yes, you need to change the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
All the very best.
I mean, it's all come at the worst time possible. I mean, that Forest game.
When you're down in there, when you're down in there.
Yeah.
Everything happened to you. I promise.
It just feels like
there.
one after another.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's like,
But look,
it's another kidney blow.
Yeah, a hernia blow, quite literally. Well, look, I mean, 49 years since Spurs were relegated. Is this one of the biggest games?
Why are you saying it with a smirk on your face?
Listen. Do you know what? Can I tell you this? I'll say this here. I wouldn't like to see them go down because I as an Arsenal fan, I like that rivalry. I like that game that we look forward to twice a year, mainly because they've got 6 points from it. Yeah. But no, I do. And I think that this game, is it one of the biggest in their modern history?
I call it World Cup final. It's a World Cup final Sunday.
Would you tell the players that?
Yes.
You try and big it up for them.
Right now, the players are Spurs. They know everything. They cannot hide. They know they've been bad the last 2 years. It's not an accident. Accident was last year, finishing 17th. Yeah. This is the second season. So it's not like something happened in one season. And now they know and they accept it. The problem is that you need to go out and perform on the day and have a little bit, I'm not even saying luck, that nothing go against you. They have to have no bad luck, they score. Yeah. Nothing deflected goal or a bad decision or whatever.
But they have looked better. I mean, there was the game against Liverpool and then Atletico Madrid. I mean, that's no like small feat beating Atletico Madrid. 3-2, convincing. I mean, do you think that Tudor bounce has maybe finally arrived?
Well, I think certainly what it has is give some belief to the team and the squad that what he's putting out is now starting to sort of come to fruition. But Forest, are playing well as well. And they've done well since Vitor's gone in and had a fantastic win last night in Michelin. Yeah. So they'll be full of confidence, and that's all the lads who've been sort of backing up the so-called first team, if you like. So they would have put a bit of pressure on them lads who are going to probably be starting on Sunday. And look, I'm really looking forward to the game. I must admit, you know, my boys are Forest, so I've got my Forest hat on.
Yeah.
Obviously,
That's why you were smiling.
And I've got my West Ham hat on as well. So I'm sort of hoping it goes that way, I must admit. But look, I'm looking forward to the game, I must admit.
Yeah, well, it is, of course, a massive game for Forest too. And this week, I went to speak to their fourth manager of the season, Vítor Pereira. And given the size of the match, well, we got straight into it. Vítor, how big is this game against Spurs?
Is of course very important game, but I tell you, we can win the game, and after if we lose the other games, it will be not possible to, you understand. I'm just saying this because it's not only about the next game. Is to be ready to compete the 8 games that we have to compete.
You're going and facing a Spurs side without a win in, I think it's 12, and they're playing to their home crowd that are already nervous. Is that something that your players can almost take advantage of?
We respect a lot Tottenham because they have a good team. It's a beautiful stadium. It will be a full stadium for sure, but it's about us. You understand? This is about us. This is not about City, about Liverpool, about Tottenham. It's not about them. It's about us. What we want to be as a team. What I want to be as a player. I go there and I will play in my best level. I go there and I will give everything to help my teammates, to help my team. I go there with personality, to play with a full stadium, and to play in the way that is the plan for everybody.
In the situation that the club has found itself in a battle like this, in a relegation battle for what it is, what do you think is more important on what you just said? Do you think it's, I was going to say, is it less so about the tactics out there, it's what's in here almost?
Yeah, of course. We need to be mentally prepared to compete and to get points from every match. This is the mentality.
You've had some fantastic performances, you know, recently. Obviously, the Man City result, the game against Liverpool. Is it, in your mind, just a case of you get that win, that first win, and everything will be different? I believe
that sometimes is more than a win. Is more than get 3 points. Is just to okay. Yeah. We have the quality, we have the character, because this team, they have quality, they have character.
How have you found it joining the Forest family? I know obviously we've seen you in the past, you know, in the pub with the fans.
Yes,
I mean,
but to be honest with you, is a lot. I didn't have time until now. Just yesterday, I went for a walk. Just to the first time that I saw the river and the city. It's a beautiful city. Yeah. I didn't have time to be with the supporters in the pubs because, you know, a lot of work to do.
I guess finally, since that first day that you walked into this club to where you are now, even though you necessarily, you know, you haven't got that win that you know you've been looking for or the goals that you've been looking for, are you more confident now of this club staying in the Premier League than you were that first day?
We can do it, for sure. We can do it. I don't have doubts that we can do it. It will be tough, of course, because the teams that they are fighting in this battle, they are good teams, good clubs, but we can do it for sure.
Amazing, Vítor. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Best of luck for Sunday.
Thank you.